Everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. Now, we haven't done this for quite a while, and I'm here with James, and we're doing the Series 6 review, aren't we?
Oi, oi. Yes, sir.
So, well, we've got the whole of Series 6 to do. It's been a while, and I can't remember any of the episodes' names. So you'll have to... So I think you'll have to give me the names.
Yeah, so we've got the A Christmas Carol. I remember that weird Disney CGI Christmas Carol came out like a year before, so Moffat was probably thinking, "Oh, let's get on top of this." Or whoever wrote it, who was it? Who wrote this one?
I think it was Stephen.
Yeah. So anyway, what happens in this one is this dude is an old grumpy tit, and then he's about to because I swear, hasn't he got like someone in cryo freeze for someone's family, and they're like, "Oh, come on, we can't pay the debt," and then he's like,
all the people frozen in the cryo chambers because of loads and loads of people to keep them basically as a debt.
Oh yeah,
is underneath the ground, and she's one of them.
Yeah.
Now Michael Caine plays the old guy. I can't think of other names, but Michael Caine plays him, and I think he plays him really, really good.
That can't be Michael Caine. That's not Michael Caine at all.
It is Michael Caine.
It's not, George. You're talking absolute rubbish. That is not Michael Caine. It's a different Michael Caine. Michael Gambon, George.
Michael Gambon. I was close enough.
How is that Michael Caine? It looked and sounded nothing like
him. I was close enough. I got the Michael bit right. I got the Michael bit right.
No. Anyway, so he's
got Michael right.
All those people are frozen and kept there as a debt, and then this kid's like, "Screw you!" And then he doesn't hit him with a walking stick or punch him or something, and then the kid's about to get hit, and he goes, "Just kick him out." And you think, damn, so this evil POS has like shown a bit of restraint. Oh, I've got to shut the curtains, it's too sunny.
Yeah, I don't know if I should as well, a bit.
I'll open it back up when the sun stops. It's just too hard to concentrate.
You just looking in pitch black. I've got to change the location for a change.
Yeah,
you're just in pitch black.
People are just fast forwarding, and then they just see light, and then suddenly, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, light and dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's quite good because when he goes to hit him, they show later on in the episode that Michael Gambon's father hit him as a child, and that's why he didn't hit the child himself.
Yeah, that's why he shows restraint.
Which I think that's nice.
Yeah, definitely it shows. So this dude can be redeemed. And then the doctor's like, "Oh, stop being an old grumpy bastard. Why do you want to press that button? What does the button do again? Does it like make
Well, I mean, Rory, I mean that ship in the sky crashing.
Yeah. He's dressed as a Centaurian. But
that big machine that Michael Gambon owns is a weather machine, basically, that his dad made. Yeah. And so the doctor just plays the three ghosts all at once, basically, from the Christmas Carol, bringing his childhood self back. And I do like how his childhood self is recording it, and it goes from the doctor seeing Michael Gambon to the young kid in that same kind of scene. I think that's quite cool.
And the dude in the future, Gambon, he's having his past change. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, he does it, and his memories are changing.
The doctor gave him loads of good memories, which is really nice. But then something that's a bit tragic, he gets this bloke a missus, and then he's like, "Oh, well, you might as well leave it this Christmas." So you think, so he's going to settle down with this lady, but he doesn't. She barely has any time left, so he freezes her. Deep, mind blown.
Yeah, which is that it's quite a nice love story, isn't it, as well?
But it's very bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's growing up, but he can only see her 9 times, isn't it? 7 or 9 times they can see her.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like how the Doctor accidentally marries Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that was quite
halfway
sad.
through the episode. So there's like bits and pieces like that, but you got this love story at the center as well. One thing we haven't mentioned yet is the villain of this episode. Well, I don't know if we really can call it a villain, but the fog shark and the fog fish.
Yeah, it's just sort of there just as a little thing to like be like, oh well, this is the threat. Every Doctor episode,
yeah, a plot device as well, basically.
Yeah,
For
every Doctor episode has to have some sort of threat. It just has to. You can't just have like no villain. As much as it would be refreshing, you just can't usually have no villain for the most part.
Now, I do like how when the Sonic gets bitten in half, how it turns into like a tracking beacon. I think that's quite nice. The fog shot bit the Sonic screwdriver in half, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the one side is in the shark, so the one bit of the Sonic can track the other bit of the Sonic.
That's cool.
And that's how basically it ends up with I forget how they do it now, how they get it to survive. I think she has like one last Christmas, doesn't she, with old man?
Yeah, with Gambit. He's like, bloody hell, you've aged loads. And he's like, yep. And then they go and fly off and the ship gets saved. So that's very nice.
She sings, doesn't she? Using the Sonic, which basically helps the ship get back on track, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And that's how they save the day, that basically. But I think it's a nice love story when it comes to it.
Yeah, bittersweet, good, fairly light-hearted. I love all the jumping back and forth in time. That was nice. Very great parody of very great at paying homage and a great parody of A Christmas Carol. Yeah, great fun. It seems like something the Doctor would do: go to somebody's past and start like messing around with it and messing things around. And it was refreshing how there wasn't like some verbal villain. It was just sort of. There's like the shark. Oh bloody hell! The sun is just too bright, man.
I know.
It's just how like there's a shark, and then the plane's going to crash.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I was going to say it's like a shark, and the plane's going to crash, so it's quite interesting from that point of view.
Yeah,
great episode overall. I know a lot of people don't like most of the Christmas specials. I don't get why there's a lot of hate for most of the Christmas specials. I mean, there are some crap ones, but I mean, Voyage of the Damned's phenomenal. This is very good. That one with the
Voyager,
Sycorax
was good. Do you know what? I heard a story about that as well when I was looking into Doctor Who canon stuff yesterday. I'm just trying to think what it was now. It was like the Seventh Doctor. Okay. Yeah, the Donna one was good, but with the Sycorax, I think it was like when I know what it is. When the Doctor's on that Sycorax ship fighting the Sycorax,
he gets the hand cut off.
Yeah. Jackie Tyler's at home, and the Third Doctor and Joe Grant, which is the Third Doctor's companion, comes to like that distress signal, and so there's a big finish adventure with Jackie Tyler, the Third Doctor, and Joe Grant.
Okay. Anyway, so we are now on the
stupid side now.
Yeah, I was going to say though, next is the Impossible Astronaut. This two-part is absolutely.
Sorry, hang on. We haven't rated it yet.
Well, are we still giving every eepisode out of 10? I'll give that like an 8.5. I'll give the special an 8.5.
I would have gave it an 8.5 as well, I think.
So, what else? Oh yeah, so now the Impossible Astronaut. I feel like Moffat he does take some ballsy decisions. This season's very arc heavy, and to just have the Doctor killed off straight away is absolutely mad. You just think, all right, he's not regenerating; he's actually dead. They burn his body. Mind blown. Obviously, I knew he was coming back because Capaldi, the series is still going. Blah 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 blah. But you think, how's he going to get out of this one? And then he just comes back straight away, and he's like, "Ayo!" And then they can't tell him that he's dead. It's very interesting off the bat that this astronaut just comes out.
It is a bit of a mindfuck kind of series, isn't it?
Yeah. But
every episode is linked somehow.
Yeah, but I feel like this is the perfect balance of mindfuck and good stories.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we'll get onto it later on, like with the Tesseract being like the Doctor on the beach, things like that.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Doctor sending envelopes to himself and like Amy Roaring River?
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? What did the envelope say?
To go to the beach.
Oh yeah, I remember now. And they're all doing their own shit. They've all got their own lives, and they'll go to the beach.
And then when the Doctor's killed her and they burn his body, because that's the only way you can get rid of a Time Lord body, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The old man comes, and it's Clinton, who we'll see younger in the other episodes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that two-parter is very good as well.
Yeah. But it's quite cool how they can't tell him that he dies.
Oh, that's well, that would just rip a hole in time. I think if that happened.
And then they go to America in the Oval Office with Richard Nixon, and FBI agent Canton as well. And there's a little girl from who's like in a spacesuit as well, which is quite out there and creepy. What's she doing? Is she a Time Lord?
Well, that's River, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall,
I do think the spacesuit is very creepy when it's coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Like it's got that weird creepiness to it. If you know what I mean.
It doesn't make sense in the water because the water's obviously a low point on Earth, where you always see spacesuits either at NASA or up in space, so it's very out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting beginning to the arc. There's some big shocks, and it keeps you interested. Let's talk about part 2 now, though. So we've got the Silence, Day of the Moon, very interesting episode as well. Amazing concept for a villain as well, being able you see them and then you forget about them. So that's really interesting. It didn't really grab me as much as part 1 because part 1 just had that shocking opener, but still fairly close in my opinion.
Yeah, and the Silence have become like one of those villains that are really well known, like the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Weeping Angels. Sometimes it's become one of those kind of villains, which I think is quite nice. But yeah, I do like how the Doctor defeats them though.
Yeah, with the space stuff, like the space landing, the moon landing.
Yeah, with the moon landing, how they use their own lines against them, which I think is quite good. And isn't it part of a building or something like the spaceship? If I'm right.
I don't know. What exactly did they do again to kill them? Didn't they make everyone remember the Silence or something?
Yeah.
Or forget them from history?
I think Amy caught a video of him saying, like you will kill all Silence on sight.
Yeah.
So everyone who saw the moon landing would kill a Silence on sight, basically.
Mm-hmm. How did they kill them when they're so powerful?
I don't know.
Just
I'm guessing so. Well, being that in Series 7 that they're all priests at the end of it, basically, I don't know. It kind of Moffat does kind of go off track sometimes, like with the crack being that was the Time Lords the entire time.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And anything that goes into it ends up not existing, though. That's a bit like, well, surely they'd just go with all the Time Lords, wouldn't they? That's a bit.
Well, yeah. But yeah, a good episode.
Yeah, the stuff with Nixon was pretty banterous as well. It was all just good fun. So, great banter. Great
One thing I love about that second part, though, is when the TARDIS is in the Oval Office, and it's got the invisible shield on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very cool little thing to have with the TARDIS, because it has those little bits and pieces that you don't normally see.
Yeah, the lore and what have you.
Yeah, and then the Doctor just goes running into it past. But yeah, I love that cloaking effect, and I always have.
I'd give both those parts a 9 out of 10. Very good, fast paced, good villain, good story. Really gets you hooked with the crazy twist at the start. Yeah, great fun.
Yeah. So I'd say 6.5 out of 10 for me.
What, part 2?
Part 2.
What, I thought you loved it. What the hell?
I do like it. I'm getting a lower score because I don't want them all being high scores.
That doesn't make any sense. So you're giving it a low.
Okay, 7.5 then.
You can't just give it. You have to base it on your opinion. You can't just give it just because the statistics look bad.
Right, fine, 8. I'll give it an 8.
Fair enough then. But you should always just give it your own opinion.
I was trying to give it a bit of range.
Those parts are a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh, both parts 9. Right, cool.
So the next one is Curse of the Black Spot, and I feel like this is a very arc-heavy series. To go from like the Doctor dying and you think, oh bloody hell, what the hell's happened, to like a pirate adventure. What the hell's going on?
I think this is the only episode, if I'm right, that isn't like series-wise, and it's a rubbish story. I think.
Yeah, it's just boring, like a black spot. They already did this in Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was far better. So
yeah,
with Jack Sparrow having the black spot.
Things are liking it. That the siren's really hot. And when they find all like the people, like with Rory and things like that the siren has taken.
The Doctor runs for the TARDIS.
Yeah, the Doctor runs for the TARDIS.
That was quite peak banter.
Yeah, I do like how the siren's a nurse, though.
Yeah, it's quite a decent twist, but everything else was just boring. Everything else was just boring.
Yeah,
and then stuff on that ship forever, sailing forever. It just seems a bit depressing, a bit bittersweet.
Yeah,
but overall, I just felt like nothing really captivates you. You got this singing flying mermaid, and there's just, I guess she does get a bit angry, but there's nothing really intimidating about her. There's nothing interesting about the story. To go from like an arc-heavy thing to like something, you know, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And pirates in Doctor Who, I'm sorry, like, come on. There's
there's been pirates in Doctor Who before, because the fourth Doctor faced a pirate, but he's half robot, and he shrunk planets down to a tiny size.
Well, that sounds far better than this bloody mermaid nurse nonsense.
It is.
Is that actually one of the best Doctor Who episodes then?
Not the best, but it's a good episode at least.
Okay.
But yeah.
To be honest, it felt very cheap as well. Like, just the set just seemed really cheap and just looked low budget, but not like it wasn't practical low budget, you know.
No.
The pirates just seemed a bit boring, really. Like they just seemed a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, they just seemed like normal pirates, didn't they? Like typical pirates.
Yeah, but they also seemed a bit pathetic and just like, I thought we were going to get something like, I don't know, like, you know, from like Pirates of the Caribbean or Pirates Adventure with scientists, like sort of like Doctor Who-esque pirates, not bloody Typical boring ass pilots.
Well, Amy beats half of them.
Exactly, that too.
In the first couple of minutes, but yeah. Score?
5.
4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit of a weak episode. So, episode 4, what we got?
Yeah, the Doctor's wife. This was quite great, to be honest. I found it a bit
I
odd
love
at
it.
first. I found it a bit odd at first, but overall, it ended up being really good, really fun. I like how those people, because this is the one where that big narrator takes over everything, isn't it? Or is that a different one?
No, it is like a narrator kind of thing.
Yeah, and they go in the TARDIS, and there's really creepy stuff like when Rory's really old as well. That's really like, whoa.
Do you know who that is, though? He plays House.
Isn't he someone fairly famous?
It's Michael Sheen.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't expect it to be him, but I do remember people saying.
Yeah, I didn't realise, but I think he's quite a good villain because he's killed Time Lords and TARDISes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a crap ton of TARDISes there, isn't it? And it's nice how, and I love the Doctor's wife's very interesting and very crazy.
I do like Iris. Yeah, and it is funny how the Doctor's loving it.
Yeah.
Like where she's stuck in the prison, and she goes, "Oh, I think you call me sexy." Yeah. All right, then, sexy. Like he's properly into it.
Yeah.
And as well, the Doctor goes quite dark in this. I think, and I think it's quite good. Like when he figures out those cubes are Time Lords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you've got the hypercubes, haven't you? And you've got loads of different TARDIS control rooms and the junkyard outside the universe where those, like there could be
the junkyard is full of different TARDISes.
Yeah. And it's been going on for ages as well, so it makes you really hate the villain who's been fucking over Time Lords for all these years.
Yeah. I do one line I love though. Fear me, Doctor. I've killed hundreds of Time Lords, and so the Doctor goes, "Fear me, I've killed them all."
Oh,
and that's such a good line, isn't it? Because
the Doctor absolutely thrashed him there.
Yeah, and so like that. Like if you think I think kill him half your race, and so he goes, well, I'll kill him. Oh fucking hell! I don't want to face you anymore. See ya. Yeah. But I do like how he takes over the TARDIS itself, and the way the Doctor tricks him to bring Iris back to the TARDIS.
How did he trick him again?
Well, the Doctor made the junkyard TARDIS out of old TARDIS bits and pieces, and then because the Iris is the TARDIS, she gives the junkyard TARDIS a bit of arctron energy to basically get it to work, and we get to see David's TARDIS, don't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it gets obliterated from the system, basically.
Yeah, sad days.
How
does he beat it then? How does he trick it again?
Because House has taken over the box itself.
Yeah.
But as soon as Iris goes in there, and because her body's dying, the TARDIS comes out of Idris and back into the TARDIS itself, and so the TARDIS basically kicks out House and basically kills House by taking the TARDIS back like that.
Yeah, they're back up against the ropes. How he's like, he can do anything. He can take the oxygen away. He can make illusions, and it's also nice how we see how big the TARDIS is inside as well. So
yeah, and not that Ood as well being possessed by him.
Yeah, more cheeky possessed dudes.
Yeah, and uncle and auntie being like
his puppet.
But puppets, but an amalgamation of all kinds of different people and Time Lords. Yeah.
I feel like because it's quite crazy, not everyone's going to enjoy it, but by the end, it's really smart and good.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I think it's one of my favorite episodes of. Well, I say it is my favorite. It is my favorite episode of Series 6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
but yeah, I'll give this one a 9.
9. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Fair dues, I'll get that.
I'd be very tempted to give it a 10.
Yeah, I'd understand that as well because it really is a great episode. It just is fantastic. As a great villain, great fan service as well. Yeah. So,
and you get to see a lot of rooms and how like Amy thinks Rory's dead because he's been waiting for God knows how long for her again. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thing is, Rory's had to wait so many times. He had to wait for 2,000 years with her. Yeah. Then he had to wait all that time in the TARDIS because, but he actually didn't. It all got reset. And then he had to wait all that time when the angels caught him. Like a version of him did have to wait all that time for 70 years for Amy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, and without how many times he's died as well.
Yeah. The dude probably goes through the most stuff that anyone goes through in the show.
Yeah. Rory's been through some traumatic stuff with that episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Next episode we got.
It is the Rebel Flesh, that 2-parter. Really weird. I just found it really odd and bizarre. It was kind of interesting with like how they, the way like there was bad versions of them and good versions of them, and they try and coexist, and then it doesn't work in the end, and then the one version of the Doctor stops behind. It's very, very mindfucky again. I just found, but not in a good way. I thought I struggled to keep up with everything. To be honest,
and the villains are very forgettable.
Yeah.
One thing though is that came out of this episode with the toys, and it's that flesh pack. Have you ever seen one of them?
No.
Give me 1 second, and I'll be right back.
I mean, I don't see what is the point of a Rebel Flesh toy? What is the point? I do not get this at all. I mean, I guess the Doctor Who fans just like to collect any villain, I suppose, because, I mean, George has said in the past how eventually the collectibles do become very scarce because they might just suddenly think, we're not going to make any Doctor Who action figures out of this thing because Doctor Who isn't popular anymore. So I get why they would be very bothered about a lot of them. But, I mean, maybe the figure looks good. I don't know. Maybe it's got a lot of cool details and it's very accurate to the source material. So let's have a look then.
I should not have ran then.
What figure is it?
Well, funny enough, it's the Ganga Doctor.
Oh! I guess that's quite out there.
Excuse me. So we did get a Ganga Doctor, but I don't think I'll be able to get it that well.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't really grab it, but if I take the Doctor out of the thing here, we got these. Then it's basically meant to be the flesh,
and
it's basically like. It's cum, basically.
Fair enough. I mean, that was the biggest waste of time. That was the biggest waste of time in any review ever. Cum. That was rubbish, George. That was probably the biggest waste of time ever.
No, it's not though, because they put these in every single pack.
What is the point?
Because it's useless. They put them in. What happened then? It just went black.
Oh, didn't the countdown timer come up?
No, the countdown timer it just went black for me.
That's weird.
But yeah,
the countdown timer should have come up.
We got them, and that's what this symbolises. This two-parter.
Crap. Well, spunk.
Crap and cummy.
But yeah, I mean, there's some cool stuff. You know, who are even the villains in it again? The rest of the bloody creatures.
Basically, the same as the gangers. So it's the whole like side cast, but in this like cummy kind of form.
Yeah, they're the villains.
Yeah.
I can't even remember much about this episode too. I'll give both the 2 parts probably like part 1 honestly probably a 4, then part 2 like a 6. It isn't as bad as part 1. I remember thinking it was more like there's more going on, it's more fast paced, but yeah.
Yeah.
So part 1 a 4, part 2 a 6.
I'd say for part 1 I'd give that a 4. Part 1 I'd give that a 4. Part 2 I'd give that a 2.
What? Okay, whatever. Yeah, so now we're on to A Good Man Goes to War. A lot of people seem to really like it. I think it's really fun fan service. Yeah, nothing special or anything, and another really confusing, weird one. But it gets you hooked straight away, and everyone's scared of the Doctor, which is quite cool. Makes you think, well, you know.
And I had the Doctor's hiding it in the crowd. Well, I say in the crowd. He's on stage the entire time as one of the headless monks.
Yeah.
Now they're a good villain. I we never got a figure of them, but I love the design of literally it's like skin like wrapped around in like a bow kind of thing.
Yeah. Doesn't it end up being the wrong Amy or something?
No, it's the right Amy, but the baby's a Ganga, like Ganga flesh, kind of like. So it's basically using the same creatures as the two-parter, but that's what the baby is.
That's quite sad. What happens to the baby in the end then?
Madam Karzavan, I can't remember the name. I think it's Karzavan, the one with the eye patch. She basically trains the baby to be River Song and be the killer for the Doctor.
So River Song is a Ganga and a Time Lord, which makes no sense, but each to their own.
No, she's not a Ganga. They use the Ganga as a copy as the baby while Madam Kazarian had the real baby.
Oh, that's very smart.
Yeah,
very sneaky.
So that's how she becomes the woman who tries to kill the Doctor.
Yeah, basically a total loon.
But then we have like a couple of generations from her as well, like when she's a little kid, and then when we get to Let's Kill Hitler, where she's Mel. Yeah, but yeah.
But to be honest, the episode overall and that fat blue guy, that was hilarious. And being like, "Why do you want me?"
Yeah, Dorian. Yeah, Dorian's good. I do find it funny how he is just a talking head, but from then on.
Yeah. It's cool. Like it's a military space type thing. Feels like the UNSC from Halo, which is cool. But I mean, overall, I'd say there's a lot of shocks and big moments, and it's very watchable. But it just seemed a bit too messy to get to that, like breaking the glass wall for me, like getting to the high level.
Because that series was cutting off. That was the series finale for that. Yeah. Well, the mid-series finale, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny how the Doctor straight up loses in that one and never gets his own back. So, I guess he survives in the end. They don't actually kill him, so I suppose that's like a win. But still.
No, people, when this was coming out at first, people thought that Jack was going to come back in it.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see Jack and
all all the doctors, mostly friends and partners, were basically there to help him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Score?
7.
7.5 for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What? And the next one?
Let's Kill Hitler, the most divisive episode ever.
Two.
Why do you hate it so much?
Shit.
What's so bad about it? Anyway, so let's talk about it first. The title is a bit ridiculous. Let's Kill Hitler. Like what? Like that's a bit too far. I know Doctor Who's known for being a bit bonkers and silly, but that's a bit like what the hell's going on.
Rory puts him in a cupboard 5 minutes in.
Puts him in a cupboard.
Rory punches Hitler and puts him in a cupboard.
Oh,
5 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, sorry.
And that's all we see of him. We didn't even get one salute. I shouldn't say that. You know.
Ridiculous. But honestly, sadly, I can't remember a crap ton from this episode. Very sadly to say.
Well,
I remember it being a bit fast-paced. All the back and forth with. I remember like that lady in the court in the wheat field regenerating. It ended up being River Song, and then River Song was
Mel grew up with Amy and Rory's friends.
And he's somehow the same age as them, which makes no sense how she's their daughter. It's just a bit bonkers.
Well, no. A Time Lord can regenerate into like a baby if they want to.
Still seems a bit weird though.
A baby, an animal. Like there's been like weird Doctor Who stories where the Doctor becomes like a zebra or a horse for a regeneration. I'm not joking. It's an actual thing.
What, on telly or just like audio book?
Audio books. There's been so much shit across 58 years.
It sounds like some Star Wars shit.
But I've been watching a YouTuber called Davies at the moment, and he does a series called Broke Canon, and he goes into really weird Doctor Who stuff, and that was one of them. I've learned so many weird things. I'll put in our message the other day about some weird Doctor Who things that I heard about. Yeah, but there's.
I was going to say though,
stuff.
I didn't mind River Song being a psychopath and all that jazz. I thought it was an okay way to refresh the character.
How she was brought up to kill the Doctor.
Exactly.
But he keeps outsmarting her basically.
Yeah, he keeps getting the next step ahead, and even when he's dying, he's coming out trying to save everyone. So that's cool.
Yeah.
How does he survive in the end again? Because I just can't remember.
I think I can't remember it myself. I thought the Tesselector helped him.
What's the Tesselector? Oh, are those the little people?
Yeah, there's a little people inside the big robot thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Overall, this episode is probably a 6.5 out of 10 because I remember enjoying it. I enjoyed all the fast-paced action. But I found like it a little bit cliched and weird, and a little bit like some of it was cliched, and then some of it was just hard to follow, and then it's just like, what's going on here,
Yeah, well, you already know my score.
And you go, why do you give it a 2? What do you hate so much about it then?
I just think it's crap.
No, but you have to give some reasons. Come on. So you can't give it a 2 out of 10 just for that one thing.
Yeah, but that's a massive plot. Oh yeah, he's poisoned, but then he dies later on from being shot. What's the point? 2 out of 10. That's it. Next one.
Night Terrors. Now, I didn't like this when I first watched it, but when I had a good think about it, I actually quite like how it's about this kid's anxiety, and whenever he gets more scared, those wooden creatures become stronger and play on his fears.
Those dolls are creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they're very scary.
I hate them. I really hate them. They're so fucking creepy.
And them turning you into wood is very terrifying too. Amy
God, that visual can never get out of my head. I of Amy being turned. Our heads are going bigger and don't like it.
How do they even save her again?
Because it's in his memory, basically.
Oh, it's all in his head, yeah.
It's in little George's memory.
Yeah, I thought the stuff about him being an alien was a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Why can't they just make it how the things are basically feeding off his night terrors as a normal child?
Yeah, exactly. That would have been 10 times better. But yeah,
it would have been.
It's just a bit of a straightforward episode, really. I thought that English Bulldog was quite funny as well.
Yeah, he was. I like how they find out where they are, how Amy Murray see all the food's like plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's quite good. Overall, the side cast is good with George and his dad.
It is.
But yeah, Matt's good in it. Pons are good in it. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7.5 because some of it I did think was a bit daft and weird, but some of it was quite cool. So 7.5.
Yeah.
Now we are on to... I can't remember it before I try and get it up. Oh, The Girl Who Waited. What happens in this one? Oh wait, I remember this. Is that the one where they're in the future world and Amy's old and they can't have two Amy's? That one was class. Yeah, I absolutely love that one. It's
such a good episode.
I remember this really, really well. So doesn't she get cut off by one of these doors, and then the doctor's like, "Oh shit, blah 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 blah."
The doctor tries to basically manipulate time. It ends up her being old.
Yeah, and she's like, "I waited here for 36 years," but I do feel awful for her. But come on, Roy waited for 2,000 years. You know, I'm not being funny. And
it should have gone. It should have gone. Oh, you waited for 37. I waited for over 2,000 years for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, great episode. I did quite like it how Rory kind of wanted both Amy's to come.
It shows how much he cares about them, really.
Yeah. I think it was a bit more than caring as well. Having two of your wife.
Yeah, but it's a bit cruel to the other one, really.
Well, yes, it is a bit cruel, but yeah. Handbots were quite good and creepy.
Yeah.
How just one touch could kill. Yeah.
Definitely. It's cool how Amy learned to be a soldier and really defend herself and is really tough and badass and hard.
And made her own sonic screwdriver out of her phone.
Yeah, that was really cool. It shows how like this hardened Amy. Karen Gillan does an amazing job at like acting like a different person as that Amy. She doesn't just because a lot of people when they have to play it, I'm not saying all of them, but you sort of feel like, all right, this person is just playing like a bad version of themselves. But like with Amy, it feels like a totally different character. You really feel for this person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying when the Doctor or whoever has to play someone different, or when a human has to play an alien or gets possessed by an alien, it's bad. I'm just saying it's sort of this feels like a different person. While most of them, it sort of feels like the same person, but like slightly different. Which isn't. There's nothing bad about it. I'm just saying like this is an outstanding performance. Is what I'm trying to say.
It is, yeah, it definitely is. Score?
9.5. Absolutely love it. The ending's really heartbreaking as well. Like how the Doctor sort of leads the other Amy on a bit for a while, and then he has to lock her out the TARDIS, and she basically gets killed.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's really deep. But like, he made the right choice. Like, why would you leave the young Amy behind who has no idea what's going on?
Yeah.
He would have been a bit bizarre.
I'd have to agree with you. 9.5 as well.
How did they come across the younger Amy again? Well, the present Amy.
I think they just went a bit back in time again and found her. If I'm right. Yeah.
That's probably what happened. But yeah, 9.5. Probably the best episode of the series.
Yeah.
Really loved it.
Second best for me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Really high point. Again, really, really high point. I feel like Stephen Moffat, it's like he even though his plots are really odd and all over the place and out there, he sometimes makes the out there stuff work because he cares about the story too. But when he makes really out there stuff, it's like, I want to do this, and this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
Yes, this is amazing. It's so odd and out there. And then he doesn't.
Moffat had more like fairy tale kind of, more of a fairy tale kind of look on Doctor Who, I feel.
Yeah. But he doesn't. Yeah. But the only issue I have with him is that he doesn't know how to conclude these plots. They're so all over the place and out there.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Oh, we've got Winston Churchill here, and the Doctor's got a beard and he's scraggly, and like, oh, Riverstone's out. This happened. And it's like, oh, the Doctor died, but oh no, you know, it's like, well, it's not what is going on. Like, you have no. And to be fair, he set himself an impossible task there. See what I did there? Impossible.
Impossible. Yeah.
He set himself an impossible task. So like, why?
Yeah.
It's his own fault. It's his own incompetence. But like, no,
he just set himself into a corner, didn't he?
Yeah, it's weird how he's like, this. Remember, like the when we were doing the reviewing all the episodes on ALP, we found that interview of him being like, oh yes, this series isn't very good, but it's far better than like his worst stuff, isn't it?
And that was Christian. No, that was.
Oh, was it Christian?
The latest one. We did the other day.
It was some ginger guy with long hair and glasses.
Yeah, that's Christian. That's the guy who's doing it now.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to watch that, go watch the latest episode of the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Right. How many episodes we got to go?
We are on. We're very close to the end now. We're on the God Complex with David Walliams, and
I like this one.
Yeah, it's another great one, really.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'd say it's good. I'd say it's very good, actually, not great.
It's good, yeah.
David Walliams. Good. I can't really. I'm not being funny. The characters are all decent in it, but I don't particularly care about them.
They were just throwaway ones, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't particularly care about them. The only one who has a bit of interest is David Walliams' character, because you sort of think, oh, this dude's a total coward and his species are cowards, and you think, oh, he's going to get his comeuppance, yes, but as nature works, he was a coward and he survived, and everyone else survived. Everyone else died, out of his mates.
I had the different nightmare rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Like how 11's the crack and things like that.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be just a big simulation type thing.
Mm-hmm. Who was simulating it?
I think the Monitor might have been. No.
But he died, didn't he, in the end, though? And he was like,
I know he died. I can't. I haven't watched the episode in ages. It might have been somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember about it, it's cool how it's all about people's fears. It's cool how the Minotaur plays on people's faith. So, like, and then Matt Smith has to trick Amy and Rory into not having any more faith in him, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I quite like that. There's not a lot to say about it, really, is there?
Yeah. David Walliams survives by being a coward in it. Matt Smith, as I say, and everyone's fears is quite interesting. Who wasn't Rory's fear a weeping angel?
I think so, yeah.
What was Amy's fear? I really can't remember.
Oh
man, I just can't remember. Really want to remember more of the fears.
I think it was like, wasn't it like somebody in a family or something like that?
Having a go at her or whatever.
Maybe, yeah.
I remember the one person's fear was a bunch of ladies laughing at him. That was quite funny. What was Walliams' fear? Wasn't Walliams' fear just the Minotaur? Because that was.
It might have been, yeah. I think the posh guy was a bunch of those puppets. Weren't they just laughing at him?
I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I know there was a bunch of puppets just all sitting in chairs, just laughing at somebody.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'd give it 7.5.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because it was. It was just what?
We're on the James Corden one now.
Is this the Cyberman one?
Yeah.
I like this one.
What?
I think it's an okay episode.
Each to their own. Each to their own. Now, the thing is, I prefer the original one so much more because it's so much more funny, in my opinion. It's just
yeah.
banter. But to be honest,
the first one is better.
I just found this a bit odd. Go on, sorry.
No, you carry on, mate.
I just found this one a bit odd, how the Cybermen are taking over a store. It's like, what the hell? The little rat thing was cool, but I just found the whole concept of them taking over a store and then they get defeated by love. Are you having an absolute laugh?
The love thing is absolutely stupid. The Cyber Mats were good because they were in the classic era, and they looked crap in the classic era. They literally like these big metal blocks with tentacles dropping down and with two buggy eyes. But yeah, them being underneath the store because it was a crashed ship and they were basically doing salvage parts. I think it was quite cool how they were like really just desperate.
Yeah.
But Craig and Alfie were okay, even though James Corden's a prick. Where I think most people will agree with me with that. They were quite good, like with the family. 11 was funny in it, but the whole love thing, like the time we get to think about love, just ruins it.
It's just really odd.
Just shite.
I'll probably give it like a 5.5 because like James Corden is kind. There are some funny bits, but overall I just found it really boring, really weird.
Yeah.
The Cybermen getting defeated by love, I was like, what the hell is going on?
5 for me.
Weak,
yeah,
a bit weak, really, considering it's meant to be right before the season.
Yeah,
it doesn't build anything up.
Apart
from the bit with Amy and Rory going into the shop and the Doctor not wanting to talk to him, it doesn't build anything else up. It's just like, what?
No, it doesn't, does it?
Very strange. And then a wedding with River Song. A very divisive episode, isn't it? I feel like for a season finale, it felt like a finale, but it felt really weak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very forgettable.
Yeah. So, like, they get married and then, like, I can't even, as you said, I can't really remember any of it at all.
They get married to basically save the universe from blowing up.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally all I can remember.
But it just seemed a bit bizarre at the start with like Winston Churchill in the Roman Empire and like all that jazz, Charles Dickens.
How like because of River Song not getting with the Doctor, everything basically collides.
Yeah. What really baffles me is that nothing happened in the episode previous to signify any of this. Moffat just sort of slaps you into it and like, look at how confusing this is, but I'm not going to be able to resolve it
Basically goes from a filler episode to that. Well, really, they could have got rid of the James Corden episode and made that two-parter.
Yeah, really, because quite a few season finales are two-parters, aren't they? Like, you know, not all of them, but quite a few.
And when you get to seasons 8. Is it? No, not season 8. Season 9's finale with Heaven Sent and Hell Bent. I've got to show you the actual outpour that made, because Hell Bent was the most hated episode of Doctor Who until the Time of Child.
Okay, that's
how bad it is. And how fucky it is. But back to series 6. It was just very weird, and like I say, it would have been better as a two-parter.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a lot to say about it, really, is there?
No, apart from the really bizarre start and the Doctor sort of outsmarts everyone, but it's sort of like a scapegoat. It's like, the little robot people actually died. I'm the best, and it's sort of like, okay, players. I find Matt Smith, especially in Series 6 and 7 as well, we'll talk about 7 another time, but he just acts over the top for the sake of it. You know, while in Series 5, it felt like it was more realistic and believable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what would I give this series out of 10? I'd say it's above average. Probably like 7.
5.
Fair enough. I mean,
5, yeah. I know. I'll probably get killed for that because a lot of people like this series. I just never really got into it. After I go back and watch it,
you're just mistaking the subjective feelings for objective feelings. This is an objective.
No, I'm not. I've tried to like the series as a whole.
Okay.
But I just never really got into it. It's better than series 11 and 12. Don't get me wrong. Nothing can be lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
I've pissed off half the fan base by saying that, but
I don't think any of the fan base will get to this point in the video, so don't worry.
No, it's silly now long, but yeah. Overall, 5 out of 10. I know you say 7 out of 10. Did you say?
Above average, but like nothing special.
No, yeah, above average. Some good episodes, some bad episodes, like always.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for joining, James. Check out ARP with the new podcast that we've just going from series 6, series 7, episode 2 to Time of the Doctor, and then we'll be back with the series 7 review soon on this channel. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Laters.